Hi, hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. We are back at home. We're going to do us a great little live stream here tonight. I think Steve is on his way, no big deal. We got our big sponsor here again tonight, Sportsman's Guide. I want to welcome them back. It's always good to have Sportsman's Guide sponsoring us. Five Stone Frontline Coffee. I want to thank them for sponsoring my coffee cup. This shit is good. I do it with 8 shots of espresso, and then you steam the Italian sweet cream. I actually put a little bit of honey in it too, and that stuff is good right there, guys. All my bubbles are up on the top. All right, guys, why are we doing a Thursday night? I appreciate you asking. First off, I'm going to ask if you guys can hear me okay. I'm hoping that you can. I'm going to turn off Steve's mic until he gets here. All right. Hey guys, real quick though, if you go check out Sportsman's Guide, and I encourage you guys to do that. You know, you gotta support our sponsors. One thing I like about Sportsman's Guide is besides having all your sportsman stuff, hunting, fishing, ammo, guns, things like that, they also do military surplus. So if you're looking for like ammo cans and stuff like that, they've got a metric ton of this stuff. They've even got the last can I got from them. It's this round one, about 3 feet tall, and it is, it's what they ship the GPS, the bolt-on GPS sensor that you put on the back of a dumb bomb, like a 2,000-pound JDAM, and that makes it into a satellite-guided JDAM bomb, which is totally badass. But anyways, the can that the Air Force ships these things in is, what do you do with the can afterwards? It's just storage. It's made for transportation. Well, that stuff goes to surplus, and that surplus stuff goes all over the place, including Sportsman's Guide. So if you've got a weird need for waterproof containers, or you want containers that you can cache and stuff like that, Sportsman's Guide, check them out. When you go there, use Tactical 20, and that'll save you a little bit on that first order without a doubt. Kind of like Costco, but for gun stuff. So it's kind of cool. It really is. All right. We normally do a Tuesday. This is a Thursday. Why a Thursday? My wife's birthday was Tuesday. It was also Susan Britcher's birthday, one of our moderators, right? But all right, so everybody in the chat room, y'all wish her a happy birthday. But more important, my wife's birthday. And my wife, she's been excited all day long. She said that this is the best birthday that she's had in a long time. Great. I won't get into everything that we did on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. But we went all out for my wife's birthday. She deserves it. I actually have some notes here to pass on to you guys from my blushing bride. All right. Thank you to, first right off the bat, to Gordon, because Gordon hooked me up, me and the wife. She hooked my wife up with 2 bomb-proof, top-of-the-line, mag-fast phone cords. Apparently, you guys think I needed new phone cords. Don't know where that came from. All right. She also wants me to pass on thank you to Toby and Karen for her nice little birthday present that she got from them. I got a taste. It was really good indeed. And I'm supposed to pass on a thank you to Casey and Jerry L. Casey's my best friend from B&T Industries, and Jerry L, his blushing bride. Yeah, my wife, she says thank you to all these great people and everybody else that's been reaching out to my wife and wishing her happy birthday and everything. She had a great birthday. She hasn't had a great birthday in quite a while. Her dad passed away and a couple years ago and everything. So this has been what she says, a great birthday, and she's been very animated and excited, and yeah, it's awesome seeing my wife having a great birthday. So we are 4 days into this great birthday here. That is some good coffee, still nice and hot. Woo, good stuff. Hey, the other thing that my wife's excited about is my son is taking all of our old YouTube videos and he's putting out YouTube shorts, 60-second clips. And my wife thinks it's hilarious that a lot of these old videos, you know, informative, educational videos about like setting up your body armor and stuff like that, that didn't ever get any views. They got like 10,000 views. My son, he'll pull a 1 minute clip out of it. And like he did one yesterday and just about placement of magazines on your kit. And it's only 1 minute out of like a 10-minute video. So you don't get half the teaching points out of it. It's already got 100,000 views. 100,000 views. It's been up for 1 day. We've had 8.2 million views in the last 28 days. So anyways, my wife's excited about that. My son's excited about it. I think it's cool, right? So I want to thank you guys for sharing and commenting and clicking likes and all that. So please continue to share them. Keep the algorithm working in our favor. All right, and all right. So here's the deal. I've got my new cord hooked up. Let's see. Let's see. I have a first question for tonight. This is from Wildflower. All right, well, again, guys, if you got questions, you pass them on to just put them in the chat room and my moderators will send them to me. All right, one of them, Susan. This is from Susan. So guys, be sure to wish Susan a happy birthday. All right, hold on real quick. I'm having a hard time opening that one. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. I got this. All right, this says, my phone just died on me again. I'm not throwing it. I'm not cutting nothing up. This is from Wildflower. Is there a reason the rifle is canted at about 40 to 45 degrees in opening video? Opening video, canted 45 degrees. If you're talking about like not straight up and down, like why I clamp my gun a little bit, it allows me to optic up, optic out of my way, down, up. When I fire, if I'm in close, I actually clamp my gun a little bit. If I've got to shoot any distance at all, though, it will be completely vertical. You need to know where your gun shoots. For example, let's say you're shooting through a loophole in a wall, that Bradley or that, tank, whatever it was, just shot a bunch of holes in the building. You're inside the building, there's no windows. You're going to shoot through this hole. Well, if the hole's perfectly round, it doesn't really matter which way you turn your gun, but every once in a while, you'll have a hole that's sideways. So now I've got to turn my gun on its side so it's completely horizontal. Where do you aim? Because remember, with it vertical, as soon as the bullet leaves the barrel, gravity's dragging it down. So your sights are actually elevated a little bit in the back to raise the front of the gun to compensate for gravity. So when I lay that on its side, all of a sudden it's not compensating for gravity anymore. It's compensating, but the gravity's hitting it 90 degrees off. So gravity's still dragging it down with the gun laying on its side, right? But so now I need to aim a little bit high, right? But also because it was zeroed to compensate, now I'm missing a little bit to, if I've laid it on its left side, I'm missing to the left. So not only do I need to aim a little bit high if the gun is laying on its side, but I also need to aim a little bit, good rule of thumb, aim in the direction that the side of the magazine is on. So if you've got that gun on its side, magazine over here, that's the side. I'm gonna aim a little bit, just a couple of inches, right? 2 to 4 inches, if it's within 100 meters, right? And then 2 to 4 inches high. All right, again, to compensate for gravity. That's 5.56, 308, 6.8, doesn't matter. AKs, doesn't matter. They're 1 to 100, very, very insignificant deviation in those trajectories. If that gun is canted, though, 40 degrees, 45 degrees, right? That is half of 90. Cut that correction in half. So instead of aiming 4 inches high, only aim 2 inches high. If you're going to have to aim the direction of the magazine 4 inches if it's on its side, now it's only half as much on its side, aim 2 inches to the side. Really doesn't matter. That's just how it's comfortable for me to carry the rifle. I think it's funny you guys were watching my son's intro video. That is some good coffee right there. We're going to spice it up just a little bit. Again, another patron. You guys hooked me up with some Mr. Blick. This is actually coffee liqueur. It's got a little bit of vodka in it. And that's only because my coffee's already cold. It's getting down to room temperature. And there's a reason why if you're going to make iced coffee, you use light or medium roast beans as opposed to dark roast. Dark roast, the coffee's got to be hot so it won't taste as bitter. This was 8 shots of dark, or actually espresso roast, very, very dark roast. The Mr. Blick takes the bitterness out of it for educational purposes only. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us indeed. All right. Whoop, I got another one just come in. All right. Thomas Lebrand. What do you think of low power variable optics? Funny you should mention that. If you're only going to have one rifle to do everything, I would put a low power variable optic on it, a 1x, 1 to 8 or 1 to 10, something like that. We are getting ready. You guys have seen us do other videos in the past with, best combat optic, where I put a aim point, basically a red dot, against a prism, against the EOTech, a holographic weapon sight, right? I did not include low power variable optics in that competition because to me, they're going up against 1Xs in a 1X environment. A low power variable optic is never gonna, the window, your eye has got to be perfectly centered behind it, where aim point, prism, and then an EOTech, your head can be anywhere and you can see that dot. All right, so that said, if you're doing CQB or urban environment or home defense, without a doubt, run a red dot, a EOTech, a prism, something like that. Run a good 1X. Keep your gun as light as possible. Make sure you have a white light on it. All right. Even if you've got nods within arm's reach everywhere. Okay. Literally everywhere, guys. Right. Everywhere. Even if you've got nods, just understand you still need to have a white light on your gun, all right, in case somebody hits a light switch. All right, but again, if I could only have one gun, and I encourage you guys also, if you could only have one gun where you don't know what you're gonna come up against, right? Your truck gun, for example, if you're gonna be driving cross country, understand you might be in the middle of Memphis when all of a sudden you're stuck in traffic. It's the zombie apocalypse. Urban environment, but still it's a big city, right? You got 200-300 meter shots in places. But you might be out in the middle of Oklahoma where it's 300 to 500 meter shots. And it's not, having the magnification does not make your gun any more accurate at distance. That's a fallacy. That is not true. Right? It's the rifle and the ammo. That's what makes a weapon accurate at distance. What the magnification does, it allows you to see the target better, all right? But the big thing for us from a combat point of view is it allows you to identify, is it a threat, is it not a threat? And if it is a threat, is it actually a threat that warrants deadly force? You can't just say, Your Honor, I was scared and I heard gunfire coming from over there. I looked, there was somebody over there, so I shot him square in the chest. No, that's not how it works. And those of you that say, well, you know, I really don't care about that because if it's the zombie apocalypse, I'm not worried about going to court. I agree with you. You know, that's fine, but understand when you go meet your maker, St. Peter's going to hit rewind and they're going to play the greatest hits of Carl Erickson's life. And you're going to have to answer for certain decisions that you made. And you're either going to have good karma or bad karma. You're going to either have made appropriate, correct decisions. And if you made mistakes, did you do it for the correct reason? Guys, there's a bunch of prayer beads over there, a bunch of casings with DNA on them, empty casings up on the wall. My bookcase, it's actually over here. I can honestly say I've never shot anybody that did not deserve it. Granted, I set that bar really low sometimes, but I have no problem answering to St. Peter and everybody when they play my DVD back. I'm going to sit back and Jesus is going to be spinning his sunglasses on his finger going, Carl, I love your work. Love your work. We're going to get along. Me and God, we get along. Me and God, we get along good. Low power variable optics. I have reached out to a bunch of different companies. Matter of fact, I was supposed to have a phone call today with one of the engineers from Vortex. He's going to call me back tomorrow. I've got Leopold has said I have to wait till after the first of the year. I've not heard back from Night Force yet. Primary Arms is already on board. EOTech, they've got their Voodoo series of low power variable optics. They're already on. Vortex is already on. So I got Leopold, Primary Arms, EOTech, Vortex. You guys have any other brands you think you're interested in being part of this competition? Let me know, because what I'm going to do is same thing. I'm going to do best low power variable optic. We're going to put them all head to head because the reality is that not all low power variable optics are created equal. There is a big difference between a $300 scope and a $2,500 scope. All right, that's just the truth. Better glass, this, that, and the other. Certain reticles are better than other reticles. Yes, I got that. Certain reticles are a big selling point for certain ones, but if you're not putting that reticle inside of good glass, you're kind of wasting your time. So anyways, it's going to be a good video. It's going to take me a while to film it, but it is on my to-do list. If you those of you that are interested, we got upcoming classes. The Tactical Rifleman calendar is up. All right. So if you're interested in taking classes in 2024, you go to tacticalrifleman.com and you can pull up our training calendar. You can go to the store, go to courses, and you can just look at the list of classes, and then there's drop downs. If you don't want to go to the calendar, you can see drop down, see what dates you can make. But we've got a bunch of new classes for 2024. One of them is called Battle Rifle 1, and there's Battle Rifle 2 also. But Battle Rifle 1, I'm not saying you need to bring a low power variable optic to it. I'm not saying that, but the course is geared. You know how everybody they go take shooting courses and everything's pew pew. Everybody is shooting 3 meters to 25 meters. That's they do their walking on the range and they shoot around the blue barrels. Everybody does pew pew. I got, and it's fun. I got that. It's fun. That's CQB distances, 25 meters and in. And the reality is most of that is going to be 3 meters and in. All right. So, okay. Whenever possible, you don't want to be in the same room with a bad guy. That's a fair fight, right? So you want to keep the bad guys at a distance. At what distance? Well, I appreciate you asking. If your maximum effective range is 400 meters and your enemy's maximum effective range is 250 meters, where do you want to fight them? From 250 to 400. That's a 150 meter buffer. That's a lot of room for them to be running back and forth trying to get closer to you. You see what I'm getting at? So Battle Rifle 1, we are shooting basically 50 meters to 400 meters. And so if you want to bring a low power variable optic, if you want to just bring your usual rifle that you do pew pew with, but you want to have a magnifier on it, that's fine. I will have both at the class. I'm bringing a bunch of different guns to that course to show different setups for different things. We're going to talk about suppressive fire. We're going to talk about designated marksman. Where your guy that's responsible for suppressive fire, maybe he's running a drum, maybe he's running a bipod, your little 5-man group of capable, concerned citizens, right? But if you also have a designated marksman, besides keeping everybody's heads down, now he's playing whack-a-mole every time those heads come up. All right, so we're going to get into all that stuff. But me personally, for that course, that'd be the course that I would recommend guys show up with a low power variable optic without a doubt. If you want to stretch out that low power variable optic, besides shooting 3-gun with it, this is definitely the course that you're going to want to take it to. All right, we've had a couple more questions come in. Thank you, Susan. Gavin Simpkins threw down a 10 Australian quid. Carl, just before you started talking about your AR on its side, I was talking out loud to myself that on its side, it still has the recoil to the right, but your TR1 AR doesn't have a recoil to do it. Okay, Gavin, my TR1, it still does recoil. It does. The one in the intro, guys, that is, you notice it's got a shorter barrel on it. That's actually a LaRue 10.5-inch upper on it with a suppressor, but because it is shorter, that is my registered lower. I have one registered short barrel lower registered with the ATF, and I basically just use it for filming videos, looking cool. That's it. That's about all it's good for. That would not be my go-to-war gun at all, but you guys like it because it looks sexy. Scott Smith, I'm buying my first AR rifle. Is it better to buy 5.56 or a 223? Because I'm told that you can shoot a 223 in 5.56, but you can't shoot 5.56 out of a 223. Is that right? Yes. No, and a lot of you guys are like smacking your head going, come on, dude, really? But no, it's, the guy just said he's getting ready to buy his first gun. And I understand that's why Tactical Rifleman, this channel was formed, because and I get negative comments all day long, guys, all day long. Negative comments, who is this for? Why are you teaching this to civilians? Well, because a lot of our viewers are in the military. So a lot of my videos are directed towards guys in the military, because I know everybody thinks, well, they learn that in the military. No, they don't. It took me, and I was in the military 25 years. It's taken me 35 years to learn a lot of this jackassery, the fine nuances of being good at a particular skill, right? So, New people in the military, yeah, please let them learn. Let them learn. All right. Some of our videos are geared towards law enforcement. Majority of our videos are geared towards concerned citizens that want to become capable citizens, and I'm very big on that. I know a lot of the social media influencers, a lot of the cool guys out there don't think we should be training civilians, and I disagree with that. I really do. Yeah, so that's all I got to say on that. But back to his question. 223, which basically designed as a varmint round for groundhogs, all right, small game, all right. Military adopted it, everything else, all right, but they wanted to make this puppy hotter. So they took the same thing and they made a standard, I think it's Sammy, I don't remember the exact specs on it, but the 5.56 gun, if the side of your barrel says chambered in 5.56 millimeter NATO, all right, it is set to take a certain chamber pressure, all right, that's the truth. Your 223 guns, .223 Remington, is not geared to take that exact same chamber pressure. Now, and for my engineers out there, I know there's like 9 or 12 other differences. If you were to pull the blueprints up of 223 and 5.56, I got that. And you could add your 224 and you could get into wilds and all. I got that. I don't care. We're trying to keep this simple for the majority of our viewers. Yes, you can shoot 223 out of a 5.56 gun. You can shoot cheap, crappy 5.56 ammo out of a 223 gun. But if you start running hot mil spec ammo, M118, green tip, things like that, your M855A1, you're really taking a chance of damaging your 223 gun. So whenever possible, guys, go with a 5.56 gun, and you'll have less problems with. I know there are people saying go with 223 Wild and everything else. I got that. You guys do what you want. He asked 223 or 5.56. First gun you buy should be in 5.56. Right? The second gun you buy, I want you to build yourself. I want you to buy all the individual parts, and I want you to build your spare rifle yourself. I want you to build it yourself. It's not going to be as accurate, not going to be as pretty, but by you building your second rifle yourself, when you're out there and you're actually in that gunfight and you have a jam in the dark, in the rain, scared to death, you're going to be able to mentally visualize what might be going wrong inside the gun, because you know what all those little screws and springs and pins and firing pins and cam pins, you know where all these things are. And that's the important part of building that second gun, guys. It's not because you need a second gun, and I encourage you to have a spare, but I encourage you to build one for the knowledge. Knowledge is always going to be your best weapon, guys. Always, without a doubt. Knowledge will always be your best weapon. All right, Michael Turcotti, could you explain what happens when you have nods on and a flashbang goes off? What happens to your nods? All right, your old nods that were not auto-gated, if a flashbang went off, you'd have a big blind spot. Some of your nods that were then set up to protect themselves, they would actually turn off if your big flash, or if you turned and all of a sudden faced towards that big bright street light, right? But modern nods, almost all your modern nods, guys. Now, this setup right here, I've actually got a thermal on one side, all right, and I have a PVS 14 on the other. I'm a big fan of PVS 14, so I have the best of both worlds on this setup right here, guys. All right, but I'm going to go to my set of Bino nods. Same thing. It still mounts on the helmet the same. On-off knob is right here. All right, so you guys can see they work, okay? But when I point them directly at that light, all right, nothing happens to them, all right? And what they will do, because they're auto-gated. Now, this other knob over here on the side, this other knob, that is what's called your manual gain. Because if you're turning, let's say I'm having to look into that railway yard and there's a bunch of really bright street lights out there, floodlights, you'll get a big bloom of light and it's hard for you to see. It's a big bloom. You can dial your nods down, dial them down, and even though you'll be able to see darker things less, that bloom will get smaller and you'll be able to see right underneath that street light, no problem at all. And then when you turn away from that street light, you dial your manual gain back up. But almost all, I gotta make sure I turn them off. All right, nods are off, guys. All right, almost all of your good modern night vision devices, they're protected like that. They are. They're protected. You're really not going to hurt them anymore, unless, I say unless, if you were to take your day caps off, all right, and because you've been running around in the shoot house and you forgot to put your caps back on. A lot of guys take them off because I'm not going to turn them on. You got it up on your helmet. You're running around like you're a cool guy. And you sit it somewhere, it just happens to be sitting, facing right at a bright light in Carl's man room. And if that thing was turned on, all right, like right now, you could not do that with the old Gen 1s, Gen 2s, not at all. Because, guys, I'm literally hurting my tubes. But you're really not now, you're not. If I was to leave it sitting here staring at the sun for a long period of time, I would damage the nods. And that's why you keep your caps on whenever you're, even when you're not using it, all right? Protect them, guys. Always protect your stuff. They're turned off again, all right? But shy of that, you're not gonna damage your nods. You're really not. All right, now one thing, before we leave nods though, there are people that will say, well, you don't need nods because if you just let your eyes adjust, you've got great night vision. You understand, it takes like 20 minutes in complete, total, 100% darkness. And then you go outside and you have your best night vision. It still won't be as good as a deer or an owl, because those are nocturnal animals, but it will be better than Joe Blow running around. And so people that say, well, I don't need to buy night vision devices because I'll just wait 20 minutes and I'll have good night vision. That sounds great and all, but what about when that car comes by and sweeps you with the headlights? All of a sudden, bang, it's gone. It's gone like that. Where we would see it, and the reason why you see us running around broad daylight in Baghdad with nods mounted on our helmets, because a good example, it wasn't Sadr City, it was one of the other boroughs on the other side of the Moab Mosque. I don't remember what neighborhood it was. Anyways, we come rolling in Humvees. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You want to hit at night, but that's when the Predator drone with the Typhon box had locked up the guy's cell phone. So we know he's there. We've got to go, we got to go, we got to go. So we get there and hook the coffee cup to the snap link right next to the radio, open the door, jump out, and check reticle, make sure your tech's on, all right, and off we go. Stock at the doors. It's an apartment building. Power's been off there for 45 days. As soon as you go through that first door into the hallway, it is witches to dark, like cave dark. No big deal. Flip your nods down. You're good to go. Right? You're good to go. Now you can see. Now the flip side is people say, well, nods suck. You don't need nods because all I got to do is hit you with white light, and then I've completely defeated your nods. No, you haven't. You understand? No, you haven't. No. And one, that's an advantage of running PVS 14s, but it's another reason why we would not run our 14s right up against our eyes. We would run them out just a little bit, all right? And that was so if all of a sudden somebody flipped on the lights, you just had to turn your head a little bit left or right, and now you're looking with your naked eye around the sides. But you could also flip that thing up out of the way real easy, key the rifle light on your rifle, and then you are what we call going loud. You're loud with white light. It's better to stay blacked out, all right? But if all you are is just your units running around with PVS 14s and not binos, not quads, what we used to, as soon as we blew that initial breach, we would go white light. We would go loud. And then it didn't matter. It really didn't matter. But that's a fair fight. You don't want a fair fight. Use nods if you can. But the idea that you could just destroy my night vision, you destroy these things as soon as you hit them with white light. Guys, you do not destroy these things. Caps are off. It's on, right? I'm going to point it straight at that light. You see the shadow on my face. I'm pointed straight at it. It's fine, guys. It's fine. You don't hurt the nods at all. Good modern nods are tough. I'm going to protect my lens caps. I'm going to make sure they're off. They're off. I'm going to sit them back down. I like talking night vision, guys. Why do I have so much night vision out? Well, because I was playing today with a suppressed pistol, and I had my, what's it called? Surefire makes it, VLD2 or something like that. It's got white light, IR flashlight, visible laser, IR laser, all in the size of a X300 weapon light, mounted on the pistol that's got a red dot, and it's got my suppressor on it, and playing with nods. Yeah, it's a good time. And why? Because if you understand, I keep those things in my go bag in case I ever got to grab the bag and go, right? You got to practice with this stuff. You do. You got to practice with it. All right. Back. We got more questions coming in. Flashbangs don't bother your nods. All right. I see. Carl, your thoughts on 9mm pistol ballistics and effective range through the Roni. Not big on the Roni. We use the MCK, same thing. Micro Roni, MCK, same thing. They're actually not. They're two separate companies now, but the Ronis are still. I saw them at SHOT. They had their own booth, which I thought was crazy. They're not coming out with any new stuff or nothing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I understand what you're saying. Effective range, you're going to get 100 meters out of it. 100 meters. The cool part about putting your gun inside of a micro Roni or MCK, whatever you want to call it, is you've now turned it into a carbine, and carbines are just faster to mount, acquire, and shoot. They are. They're faster to manage recoil. They are. And it's because you have, with a pistol, you only have one point of contact. Both hands are on that single point of contact, the pistol grip. That's it. You have one point of contact. With a carbine, you have the forend, 1 point. You still got the pistol grip, that's 2. You've got the stock in your shoulder, and then you've got your cheek weld. I mean, unless you're running one of the tall 12-inch risers so that you look cool on Facebook. But if your head is locked in, 1 point of contact, 2 points of contact, 3 points of contact, 4 points of contact, it is just easier for you to center the pupil of that eye behind the sights and get rounds on target. So as far as ammo, any good combat ammo will work and will work better through a carbine. And there's lots of good stuff out there. It depends what your budget is. I mentioned the suppressor. We will be having another video coming up, I won't say soon, but because I want to try a couple different brands of armor. But G9, you guys know I carry G9. All right. The G9 external hollow points, that's a 9mm external hollow point. What I mean by that is instead of it having a hole in the tip, which it doesn't, it's got fins on the outside. All right. G9 makes a hollow point, 9mm, not hollow point, external hollow point, 9mm subsonic that will defeat 3 alpha body armor. Subsonic 9mm that will defeat 3 alpha body armor. That's awesome, right? But that's another case of me saying, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. They sent me a couple cases of it. So it's got to be accurate. So we're going to do accuracy. We're going to do, does it function properly, blah, 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 blah. But then we're going to shoot plate with it. So we'll see. We will see how it does. I'm sure it will do good. My point, though, for saying G9 is there's lots of good tactical ammo out there, and you can tailor it to your mission. If you need to stay subsonic, you don't need that crack. You're going to be running a suppressor on your Roni, for example. Look at subsonic 9mm. But again, you may have a mission set where you need frangible ammo. Maybe you're going to be inside of a ship and you don't want ricochets off all the steel bulkheads, right? That would suck. All right, so you would use frangible tactical ammo. What about if you had both? You needed to be suppressed and you needed to be frangible. I have subsonic frangible ammo. Now, it won't defeat body armor, but I have subsonic 9mm. I have subsonic frangible 9mm. I've got subsonic 9mm that will defeat level 3 body armor. And then I've got really hot supersonic 9mm. Try different ammo. For a while, I was running Barnes TAC XPD because at the time, the Air Force had actually paid for Tier 1 Group. It was a facility down in Memphis that I was working at. The Air Force actually paid for them to bring human cadavers in and test different kinds of ammo. And out of all of them, your Hornady, everything else, the Barnes TAC XPD performed better than the other ones did. Okay, I'm going to use what the best stuff out there. And but it changes over time, all right? But again, your mission changes also, so have more than just one tool in your toolbox. All right, Big Fezzik, Susan, would you ask Carl if he ever saw a soldier totally lose their shit, as have a psychotic break due to drugs or no? Lose their shit. I've seen guys panic and freak out under fire. I have seen guys so passed out, tore up on drugs or alcohol. They found a Green Beret medic in the barracks. He had OD'd on Nubane, which is synthetic morphine. I want to say it was like Christmas break or something like that. He was in the room when everybody came back off vacation. There's a stink coming out from under the door, and they opened the door, and he was in his recliner. He had a Lazy Boy recliner. He had 2 6-packs of beer, still had an empty IV bag in his eye. He had OD'd on Nubane. They found out that he had a addiction to his own aid bag, basically. But as far as seeing people lose their shit, when you'd see guys lose their shit, it was usually roid rage, or they were really pissed off at an officer, or they were usually pissed off at somebody, and they were wanting to bow up and fight, and then you're having to put hands on to calm the guy down. All right. Okay, we got some more questions, guys. I like getting questions from you guys, the whole point of a live stream. Michael Turcati's back. Could you explain good versus Gen 2, 3, 4 or better related to nods? Number one, when people say they are Gen 4, there's no such thing as Gen 4. The term Gen 4 was awarded for about a year and a half, I think. But then other people said, look, it's not a different generation. It's just filmed versus unfilmed, blah, blah, blah. So they did away with Gen 4. So if people are saying it's Gen 4, they're not. All right. Now, if somebody says it's Gen 3 or it's Gen 3 plus, that is, okay. There is such a thing as Gen 3 plus. The stuff is getting a lot better, but there still has not been a groundbreaking generational change where they're like, man, it has completely changed the way we do things. All right. And I don't have time to get into it real deep here. Where I do get deep into it is, and we're running the course twice this year, is we do what's called a low light, no light shooting course. We do them at the Louisville Armory. I want to say we're doing one in July. It's like the end of July or something. July, again, don't hold me to it. You have to check our calendar. And then the other one is later on in the year. I want to say October, November timeframe. We do it at an indoor range because one, they have a small indoor shootouts, but also instead of you having to go somewhere and start a night shooting class when the sun goes down, 6, 7 p.m., and then you're tired and wore out at midnight and you've only shot for a few hours, indoor range, we can kill all the lights, cave dark, and you can start shooting at 8 o'clock in the morning. The first day's flashlights in the morning, and then we get into using night vision in the afternoon, and then the whole second day of the course is night vision. The cool part about that course, though, is if you guys are new to night vision and you're interested, this is a big purchase. All right, PVS 14, and you guys heard me say it before, your first purchase of night vision should be a PVS 14 because there's 10 times more uses for that than this. All right, that PVS 14, it's still a big purchase. So what I do is for every student, I bring a brand new Gen 2 Plus PVS 14 Ghost White Phosphor from AGM Global Vision. They sponsor us with brand new night vision. At the end of the course, you get the opportunity to buy it at my price, which I'm not allowed to even tell people what the price is because it's less than their Delta level dealer discount, right? Alpha guys save so much, Bravo saves so much, Charlie, but I'm getting it to you. And I'm supposed to mark it up a lot. I'm not doing it to make money, guys. I'm doing it to train you guys. So, but you have the opportunity to buy the nods at the end of the class. If you want binos, you want Gen 3, whatever, that's fine, but you got to agree ahead of class, hey, this is what I want from their website. You'll get it at my price again, and then it'll be waiting for you there at class. But at the start of that class, when we get in the night vision portion, I talk about difference from Gen 1 to Gen 2, Gen 3, and the small nuances of it being filmed, the nuances of it being gated versus auto-gated versus non-gated, because there's a lot that goes into it like that. There really is, and yeah, a lot of difference. I got Jamie. You coming on?
Yeah, buddy.
Outstanding. I got my nephew Jamie Gap. You guys remember him from Coffee with a Cop? All right.
I was just in the chat room and everybody said, if Steve doesn't show up in 10 minutes, I'll come over.
Really? Did they? You guys actually asked for Jamie?
No, nobody responded.
All right. I thought Steve was coming.
I came to work out.
We also go over thermals in that course. And for example, I mentioned, guys, this is actually an ATN new thermal monocular right here. And it's badass. It is. It's badass. How you doing, Jamie? But it's not that badass. Don't get me wrong. As far as thermals go, it's great. But people that say thermals are the end all be all, I've never tried driving with them. All right, Big Tuna threw down 50 bones, brother. I appreciate that. For birthday flowers for the missus. All right. Great. Now I got to buy flowers. You understand? YouTube's going to take a cut of that. Thank you, Tuna. I appreciate it. Gavin Simpkins threw down 5 Australian quid. Carl, if me and Instructor Z had a fight between Krav Maga versus my Defendo blue belt skill set, thought on who would come close on the win. You understand, Gavin, one, Z don't hit girls, dude. He really don't. No, I don't mean it like that, but I mean, Z would work with you. Z would let you get your strikes in and stuff. And then right at the end, he would fucking destroy you. Don't put the F-bomb in there, don't it? Don't. That I said frickin'. If you rewind it, I said frickin' destroy you. Frickin'. Please don't put the F-bomb up. Don't do that. Charles threw down 5 American dollars. Yeah, sweet. Hey, Carl. Do you have any experience with the Sig Sauer M400 Tread AR-15? I do not. I'm sorry. I do not have any experience with that at all. To me, AR-15 is an AR-15. The MCX, all right, piston gun, complete. There's no buffer tube on the back, side folding, nice, great gun. Full ambi lower, depending on which one you get and everything. I have an MPX, which is badass. That's my wife's little carbine. She loves it. All right, Jamie, how you doing, brother? All right.
What's going on, guys?
Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, guys. All right, so here's the deal. I think I'm caught up. Susan, if anybody has questions for my nephew here, the detective, they take priority. That's how you been doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am awesome. I just got back from a few days spoiling my better half down there in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
She better have to care of me today because I needed some coverage and she made it happen. She's a good lady, too good to us, anyways. So.
Yep, without a doubt. All right, I think she just sent another one, or that was another text. Let's see. Okay, we had a couple more come in. All right, Ray S. Hey, Ray, do me a favor. Reach back and grab that ponytail and jerk that head back for me. Will you do that for me? Question for Jamie. Have you ever participated in crowd control for protests, large crowds, and can you talk about the tactics are effective versus other tactics that are more controversial? You ever done riot control?
Right, good question, brother. We trained for it when we had a solar eclipse in our town.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
And where I was at the time is a town of 30,000 people. We were 100 sworn, so they were expecting triple population numbers. We got a lot of people to come in for it.
NASA even set up trailers.
Pope had a guy out there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people showed up for. What year was that?
17, 18? Somewhere there.
2017, 2018, there was a solar eclipse, and they don't happen very often. And this particular one, they literally, like, NASA's like the best place to watch this on the entire planet is, let's see, and it's slide rule, all that, and they're like, Wallonia, Kentucky. Which is basically Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Cadiz, Kentucky. It's a little like spot right in the middle.
50 years to the day of the Greenland.
Yep. Oh shit! You got to put your mic on.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
Yeah, and
done this.
Okay. Hello.
How about now, guys?
Hello? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. What would we do without Susan? All right, guys, I know you couldn't hear him. All right, let's start that again.
Cliff Notes version.
Cliff Note version.
I trained for it. We had an event in the town I was in, tripled our population in 24 hours. But everybody who showed up were complete and total, like, NASA space nerds people. They were the coolest people in the world.
Yeah.
Didn't have any trouble, but we did learn the tactics. Basically, the only thing that I can speak to that I learned was you have your shield and your baton, and you echelon into basically a 45-degree angle, and then you go step, march, and there's really no beating hippies with nightsticks anymore, so we didn't learn any of that. Crowd control, I will say, just from all my knowledge, and I love watching cop breakdown videos, rubber bullets are probably your most effective, other than tear gas. And,
yeah, no, go straight to gas, guys.
Yeah.
Go straight to gas. Rubber bullets are, you start putting out eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not big on rubber bullets. All right, mic up, Jamie, please. Thank you, Susan, for reminding me. Yeah, you guys, all right, so he's got his mic on now. Let me know if you guys can actually hear him good.
I feel like one of those ASMR videos.
I think so. I'm going to pump you. Here, say something, Jamie.
Say something, Jamie.
Try it again.
Can you guys hear me? Check.
Without grabbing it, knuckle
Oh,
nuts,
yeah,
just
good
talk.
call. Hey, guys, how is everything today? Can anybody hear me? I can't be worse than this.
You
than
see
Steve.
what I got to work with.
How am I worse than Steve at this? I'm his understudy.
All right. All right. The Donut King threw down $5. Thoughts on how IDF is handling things over there?
It's all you, brother.
And guys, I could care less your political preferences, whether you're pro-Palestinian people or pro-Israeli people. I'm pro all people. But when you take pride in being a terrorist organization, and they take pride in it, and you say you back Hamas, then you basically understand you lose all credibility with me. So if you say you support the Palestinian people, okay, but as soon as you say you support Hamas, you understand I'll punch you right in the throat. All right. The Israelis have never been good at this stuff because they care about world opinions. All right. Kid gloves. You guys, have y'all ever heard that phrase before?
I've never heard that.
Kid gloves.
Kid gloves.
All right. We treat them with kid gloves. Right. And what I mean by that is, remember World War I?
Sure.
Right? Everybody remembers World War I. You guys remember World War I? None of you were there. None of you were there, but you've read about it, okay?
Yes.
Understand people want to change history, and this is why you can't let them do it, all right? You can't change history. History is supposed to piss you off. History is supposed to bother you. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and that's what keeps you from repeating history. Back in World War I, if at the beginning of World War I, a general had said, hey, we're doing trench warfare, the wind's going from west to east. What do you say we get a bunch of tanks of chlorine gas, we'll crack them open, let the wind carry a cloud, and we'll just burn all their eyes out of their eye sockets. That would be cool, right? There's no way at the beginning of World War I anybody would have done that. They would have been like, no, what are you, crazy? By the end of World War I, every country involved was using chemical weapons. At the beginning of World War II, if one of the generals for the Army Air Corps had said, look, Tokyo, that whole city's made out of wood and paper. What I want to do is I want to get a bunch of bombers, like hundreds of them, and in one night, just drop incineraries everywhere. Just basically carpet bomb the whole thing with sterno, and just let that, because you understand once that firestorm starts, it sucks in all the air, so they literally can't breathe. even if they're running away from the fire. And when the fire finally catches up to them, they die like the most heinous death ever. At the beginning of World War II, nobody would have done, of course not. Everybody would have been like, no way, there's no way. By the end of World War II, we had leveled Germany, carpet bombed it, so it had more craters than the frickin' moon did, right? And then Tokyo, that's exactly what we did. We firestormed Tokyo. We firestormed it, all right? Everybody gets hung up on the nuclear weapons. 2 small cities, all right? That was nothing compared to what our general, I can't remember his name, Army Air Corps general in charge of the Pacific Theater bombing campaign. He incinerate bombed the snot out of that. He's responsible for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of deaths of civilians. There's probably like 200 soldiers there, a whole 200, all right? By the end of the war, we take off kid gloves. Likewise, the Palestinians, right? You'll see it on the news all the time, right? The Palestinian kids, they got their slingshot, right? Their bolo, and they sling a rock. And meanwhile, the Israelis are shooting back rubber bullets. You see it on the news all the time. For how many years now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
20 years? 30 years?
Sure.
Right? Is that humane? No, it's not. And here's why. There have been, I want to say like 2-3 dozen Israeli soldiers killed by rocks, actually getting hit in the head, catch it in the temple, literally killed. There have been hundreds of Israeli soldiers maimed, bad, disfigured by rocks being thrown, okay? There have been thousands of Palestinians killed by rubber bullets. Just happen to catch them right perfect in the eye. Just happen to do this. Just happen to skip just right. And hundreds of thousands of them have been maimed by rubber bullets. All right? Now, all right, but that's less lethal force. Less lethal, not non-lethal. Here's my point, though. Somebody starts throwing rocks at you with a slingshot. If they had shot the first 10 kids that were throwing rocks at them, shoot them right in the face. Full metal jacket, right in the face. Take those gloves off right away. It is unacceptable behavior. Shoot those kids, those 20-year-olds, shoot them right in the face. You know what would have happened 20 plus years ago? There wouldn't be anybody slinging rocks anymore because, oh, dude, you catch a bullet to the face. You'd have 20
That's well said.
dead Palestinians instead of hundreds of dead Palestinians, right? And I understand my logic is not politically correct. I got that. It's not politically correct. It's just correct. All right. So at the end of a conflict, sometimes to make it end, you have to take off the kid gloves. You have to quit being politically correct. And at the end of it, and that's where Israel's at right now. Israel's been playing with the Palestinians for a long time. They got Hezbollah on one side. They've got Hamas down there in that little shithole called Gaza. And they're tired of it. They're like, look, we can't do this anymore. You understand? They killed 1,000 Israelis. 1,000. Everybody talks about the babies and everything. Okay, fine, whatever. Everybody talks about the hostages. Okay, fine, whatever. They killed over 1,000. All right, now, Israel's not that big, guys. Look at New Jersey on the map, okay? You kill 1,000 people in New Jersey, you've dented that country. You've dented it, all right? If somebody was to kill 1,000 Americans down on the Rio Grande, what do you think we do? I understand Biden would not do anything, okay? But even Bill Clinton, he'd put a stop to that shit. Obama would put a stop to that shit. They would. They'd put a stop to that shit, all right? Bush would do another line, and then he'd put a stop to that shit. He would have put a stop to that shit. So everybody that's, you want to take the Palestinian side, or you want to take the Israeli side, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on, and I know because some of you are like, man, Carl's going to be on my side. He's going to be pro-Israeli, and because we all love Emory, or Carl, man, he's not going to support my boys, the Palestinians. No, dude, I support all people everywhere, but when you're a terrorist group, I don't have any use for you. I just don't. And the whole thing that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Okay, if there's an occupying country that's occupying your country, right? If we had Russian soldiers on our soil, of course, we would be the underground. We would. And that's why I didn't mind the guys fighting in Iraq. Of course they're fighting. They want us to leave. But what they don't understand is all you got to do is shut up and not do anything for 6 months, and the Americans would leave Iraq. Give us Saddam, and we would have left a year earlier. But it is what it is. Our military's got to go where they send us, and it is what it is. So as far as do I agree with what the Israelis are doing? No. But again, I don't know all the details. They're doing this thing to swap for prisoners. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have enough to really be voicing an opinion on it. So, but I just talked for 10 minutes. Why? Because and you notice I talked very little about what's actually happening in Israel. I talked about World War I. I talked about World War II. I talked about what happened in Israel 20 years ago. My whole reason for saying that is sometimes you need to see the bigger picture, but there are times where we need to take off the kid gloves. And just because the Israelis and pro-Palestinians are the loudest group in the U.S. right now, you understand they're college kids, and
there's media factor too.
Yeah, I don't have very much respect for college kids at all. I just don't. And is a good example, Seoul, Korea, South Korea. The capital's called Seoul. Every year in Seoul, Korea, every year they have anti-American protests because there are American troops still on their soil. It's all college kids, and they get out there, and the riot police will throw CS grenades, and they all have gas masks they've stolen from the American soldiers, and they pick up the CS canisters, they throw them back. These riots happen every year in Seoul, Korea. You know what time of year they happen? They just happen to coincide with exams at college. They just happen to coincide with exams. It's fun for college kids to go out and be free-spirited, and I'm exploring my sexuality. No, you're a punk. Your dad's paying for college, and you're a punk. You don't even know your pronouns anymore. Shut up. You don't have an opinion. You don't have an opinion.
Scars and tattoos are different things.
Yep. All right. Next one's from Heather Flyfishes, 20 bones. Hey, Carl, I just bought a robot vacuum cleaner and I love it. Are you hinting towards a future Christmas present for Mrs. Erickson?
Ooh, I did that 2 Christmases ago. It doesn't land as easy if you buy your wife a vacuum cleaner for Christmas. Yeah. It didn't for me anyways.
Yeah, no, you don't.
This
is for all my unmarried guys out there. There are certain don'ts. 1, vacuum cleaner for Christmas. No. 2, stair stepper.
Yeah, no.
Don't get it. You do not buy your wife exercise equipment for
get her a bigger
for
closet,
holiday
because it's gonna hang clothes anyways. You may as well make her happy.
Yeah.
Get a bigger closet or something.
No, you don't. Heather, we used to have carpet. We don't have any carpet in the house. It's all wood and tile. So I've actually been thinking about a robot. I think that's awesome that it works out good for you.
I'll say this.
How's yours working out?
I don't have animals in my house, but I've seen videos of people that you kind of map it out. It has its own little routine it does. So when you're at work, it's cleaning the house. Well, then one of the dogs takes a dump, and that robot doesn't know, so it just does its thing, whoop, right, and then you come home to a perfectly mapped outline of where your robot went.
My dogs have never taken a dump in the house. You've met my dogs.
They're the best dogs. Yeah.
I have the best dogs. I do. Well, maybe not Lucky Dog. Lucky Dog's a villain. She is the
Lucky would be
villain.
riding the vacuum cleaner around telling all the other dogs, this is my chariot, this is what I do now.
I was outside today taking care of some of the leaves, and Lucky's mad because she had brought a deer rib cage up to the house and 2 deer skins out of the dump pile, drug them out. They're bigger than she is.
Yeah.
But and they're just all nasty, and she just rolls in this.
You were
stuff.
gone. She was just
So she's hungry. She hasn't eaten dog food in 2 weeks. She hasn't. She's a nasty dog. Yeah. Nasty. She just likes to roll in this stuff.
She does.
Yeah. She's not allowed in the house. But the other 2 dogs, they think they're little keychain Yorkies.
Oh yeah.
They're full-size labs.
Yeah. They think they're like little poodles that jump up on your lap.
Yeah, they're not allowed in the house though, but they're in the house more than I am. Yep. Heather, I'm glad you like your little robot vac. Also, I want to say congratulations, Heather and Phil W. on their announcement of they are getting married.
Hey,
I think that is awesome. Long time coming. American Patriot. By the way, how's Emery doing? ? Guys, Emery is good. Emery is up in New York City right now. He's up there with some great surgical specialists and back doctors. Emery hurt his back. He's got a blown disc and he needs to get it fixed because I have a high-risk travel course coming up, and he's one of my main instructors for it. He's not going to have surgery before the course, but according to Emery, and I just talked to him on the phone yesterday, they've hooked him up with, he's feeling good right now, and they've also given him some emergency meds, so if he has another bad back spell, he can immediately crush it. He won't be allowed to drive, but he'll be able to function pretty good. Yeah, guys, high-risk travel is full. I actually have 1 slot left, but we're getting awful close. That class is, I want to say 6, 7, 8, or 8, 9, 10, whatever the Friday, Saturday, Sunday is in December. Great course, 3-day course, man. I can't stress it enough. Yeah, everybody wants to do pew-pew, but high-risk travel, you will learn more in that class than you will any other 2 or 3 day class that's out there, without a doubt. I just got some new firefighting equipment, different ways for opening doors without damaging the doors.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to show, because one of the things we cover is escapology, how to get out of ropes and chains and zip ties and flex cuffs and handcuffs. And the part 2 gets into lock picking, and we won't have time to do that. But there are, I'm very big on know what the professionals use. And obviously you understand you're not going to have a handcuff key with you if you get kidnapped. You're just not. The idea that you're going to hide it in your prison pocket. Okay, do you have one in your prison pocket right now? I understand a couple of you do, and you understand you're a little weird, but for the rest of you, and myself included, I do not have a handcuff key in my prison pocket. So if somebody was to come through the French doors right now, and I understand I would get the first 4 or 5, okay, and I'd make my way to my rifle. If you were to get rolled up right now, chances are you wouldn't have your key on you. So you need to know how to make expedient handcuff keys, bobby pins, shims, all kinds of stuff. We cover all that in the course. But it's the same thing with opening doors. We know how, we're going to teach them how to use real lock picks And then, and I encourage you guys to own lockpicks. Understand it varies from state to state. Some states you're not allowed to own lockpicks unless you have a certificate as a trained locksmith, which is very easy to do. Just take the class online. All right. I happen to live in one of those states, by the way. One of those, yeah. But you're never going to have them. So we show them how to make expedient lockpicks. But there are lots of other Slim Jim tools in it. But there's a lot of stuff that the firefighters use to gain entry without destroying the door, doing minimal damage to the actual household to get into an apartment to check and see if there's anybody in it. And so anyways, I've learned a lot of breaching from firefighters. I've learned a lot of breaching vehicles from EMT guys, believe it or not, your paramedics and firefighters. And all this applies to the military, made me a better Green Beret, really did. So anyways, it's a good course. That course, if you want to sign up for it, is, I want to say third or fourth week of July, and then December, second week of December 2024. High risk travel. Again, all those classes are up for sale right now online, tacticalrifleman.com. Why is this important? Right now, none of you guys are signing up. I know, because why? Because tis the season to be giving. You're taking all your money and you're buying Christmas presents for your family that's not going to appreciate it. Give your wife and your daughter or your son a certificate to high-risk travel class. Yeah. Give your wife your phone. Pull up tacticalrifleman.com, Battle Rifle 1, right, where it says sign up, all right, and hand her your phone and say, hey, click that, pay with PayPal, and just don't tell me. Get the certificate from Carl and you can put it under the Christmas tree. Have your wife buy you training with Tactical Riflemen and put it in a pretty box with a bow and put it under the Christmas tree. And to me, I can't stress enough, some of the best weapons, best tools you will ever have is knowledge. And you can only have so much ammo, guys. How much ammo is enough ammo? There's no such thing. You always need more. I got that. But once you've got that double basic load, after that, everything else is for training. So let's train. Let's train. Spend money on training.
It's good.
That is some good coffee right there. Guys, I need more questions for, we're doing coffee with a cop. Hold on.
And I'm here until Steve shows up, if he shows up. If not, I'm here anyways. I was in the chat room. Thought I'd come by. I said, if Steve doesn't show up in 10 minutes, I'm driving over there. And I'll take the questions. But I will say, I was thinking about buying my family slots to classes he's teaching throughout the year. Because if you oh, it's his birthday and I forgot to get him something. Oh, wait, I bought him a class 6 months ago and forgot about it. Boom. So that would be good too.
Charles Blood is here with 5 bones. What magnification for a low power optic do you recommend? 1X, PS, it's Charles Blood. Yeah, I know it's Charles Blood. All right. On a carbine, all right, we never used to have low power variable optics that went down to 1X. They all would go down to like 3X. For example, my SR25 Mark 11 that you guys see me, a lot of my pictures, me, Najaf, Fallujah, wherever, that was a Leopold Mark IV 3.5 to 10 power, all right? Dialed all the way down to 3X, 3.5X. Could you use that in the shootout? Bend the name and concept? Yeah, I never did. I would always just flip up that front scope cap. And it's got the little bunny ears on the scope cap, right? Scope cap's got the little ears that you hit with your finger to flip it up. That's what I would aim with. I would put the 2 bunny ears on the side of the guy's head. Yeah. Bullet would go through the middle. Put it 2 bunny ears on the side of his shoulders. Bullet goes right through the middle. I knew my gun, right? And I needed the 10X for those 400, 500, 600 meter shots. Okay, I needed 10x. But honestly, most of the time, especially at night, I was using 4, 5, or 6x. That's where I was shooting in the dark. All right. Fast forward, matter of fact, it's the scope you got on your deer rifle.
Steve,
He has one of the original 1 to 7.5x scopes. At the time, it was this company called Horse Vision. They've been since bought out by Night Force. But I had one of the prototypes of that scope, and I ran it. It was 2007. It's when Wick got into his big ambush and ran the twin miniguns empty and started killing guys with his 1911. Army of Heaven, you can Google Army of Heaven, Najaf, Iraq, 2007, and a great story will pop up. There's been a lot of writing on it. Anyways, Jimmy Adams has got a thumb drive that's got like 600 pictures on it, and 300 of those pictures are me standing around dead guys, and I've got this low power variable optic, a 1 to 7.5x. It's awesome. It had certain issues that I wanted them to fix. Very few companies fix them. So me personally, I want one that goes down to 1x, a true 1x, and that's important. If it's 1.1 or 0.9, okay, if it's 0.9, just dial it up a little bit till you get to 1, all right, and then leave it there. You understand, when you're patrolling with that low power variable optic, like if I'm getting ready to do a test in the course, one of our shooting courses, and I got a guy that's got to shoot at 25 meters with a low power variable optic, and I don't say nothing, but I look at him, and remember, we've just been shooting at 3 meters and he had it on 1x. Now we're shooting at 25 meters and he dials that thing up to like 3, 4, 5x, so he knows for sure he's going to get his hits. That's not realistic, guys. I want you to train as you're going to fight, and how you're going to fight is you break the corner in that hallway. It's still set on 1. Now, immediate threats out to 50 meters, 50, you should be taking them on 1x.
Right.
All right. Take the immediate threat, and then when you go to ground, you go to prone, you go to cover. Yep. If you need more magnification, then dial it up. But don't game the test ahead of time and start with it already on 3, 4, 7, whatever. You understand, combat is not a 3-gun match. I'm not bashing my 3-gun competitors. I'm a big believer in shooting competitions. It's a great way to help maintain your muscle memory. It's a great way to shoot under stress. It's a great way to shake out your kit. But your competitive shooters that say, I would have made a great Marine because I outshoot all the Marines at the match here. I would have been awesome. It's not the same.
Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face.
Yeah, exactly. You know? All right. Wow, we've had a bunch come in. All right. The Clever Conquistador. His mom had 2 sons. One of them wasn't very bright.
And the other one
was clever. Okay, that's how they were twins. That's
and
Clever, come here. Dumbass. You stay over there.
The other one didn't conquer as much.
Mr. Conquistador, at Carl, what's a good mount I can buy to hold my mono or bino tubes for night vision, and where do you recommend I buy it from? I run Wilcox mounts. Wilcox this is a Wilcox. What we're talking about, guys, is, I'm going to pull this one off. This is the mount right here. Not all mounts are created equal. And you can get military surplus ones. They call them rhino mounts. Yeah. And they're okay. They're okay. And that's fine if you're on a tight budget if you're on a really tight budget, buy the airsoft one. All right, but understand it's airsoft. I don't plan on getting in a gunfight with it. If you're on a budget, go with the military surplus ones. Get a Rhino mount. If you can afford it, though, the Wilcox mounts, they just have better adjustments on them, and the small little fine details. Having it so it can break away, throw the lever so it can't break away. So, and I prefer to have it so it breaks away. So if I go to fast rope out of the helicopter and it gets hung up on the roof of the helicopter, it breaks away and hangs from the dummy cord. I don't lose my nods, rather than me being hung by my helmet dangling from a helicopter. You understand, at 80 feet, that would suck. Having the other adjustments that allow you to change the angles on them. Wilcox, yeah, enough on that. I don't want to get tied up on it that bad. I'm going to hook those back up. All right, Jamie, if you'll sit that down. Wilcox mounts, and where to buy them? Pretty sure it's wilcox.com, but you go, all your good places will sell them. All right. Susan keeps sending us a ton of these things. J.D. Watson, Carl, when you were training on Range 2 at Fort Campbell, did you get a chance to shoot a ground hag or two? Ground hag.
He follows up with hog.
Hog. Oh, ground hog.
I thought you were talking about my ex-wife or something.
We didn't shoot groundhogs there. Cool part about Range 2. Range 2 is actually a pistol range now. But back in the day when Mr. White was running it, they had two shooting towers, and they had a flat range off to the side, but they had two shooting towers, and they weren't tall towers. They were just enclosed with two shooting ports. And I think it was Bosworth. One civilian would be in one, Mr. White would be in the other tower. And you looked out, and there was knockdown plastic E-type targets out to 1,000 yards, knockdown targets. And they were all in a nice pretty row, and you'd shoot at them. And we didn't have bipods. We had to shoot off of sandbags. You had a shooting glove. You weren't using sandbags in the back. M21, I accurized M14. Guys, I'm old. And we would shoot out to 1,000 yards from that tower. And every so often, Mr. White would be like, hey, we're breaking for lunch. I need a couple of you guys to go replace the battery, the car battery on the 600-meter left target. Okay, so we'd take the car battery and we'd go down there. And remember, all the targets are in a nice level, but that's not the terrain. The terrain on Range 2 does this. Range 2 was famous across the U.S. military. Snipers would come from Wendover because you might have a wind going right to left at 200. At 500, you might have a wind going the opposite direction, and then another one even further out going the other way, and you're like, that's not natural. But what it was is there was a hill in the middle, and the wind would be coming and it would be whipping around the back of that hill. So you really had to be good at reading winds. But we'd get out to the 600-yard target, and we'd be down like in a ravine, and they had a metal post like a telephone pole. Mm-hmm. And that target would be up, it'd be 20 feet in the air on top of that post. And that's how they made the targets all nice and level. I see. But it let even more wind travel. Right. And so you'd have to go get the battery and then change the battery out. But I learned a lot about shooting from Mr. White. I learned more about precision rifle shooting from Mr. White on Range 2 than I did my three other sniper schools, military sniper schools that I went to. Seriously, a heart attack.
That's saying something.
We had a deer Now we're running we had Art 2 scopes. Redfield made them. These are Vietnam era scopes, Redfields. And the Art 2, it had a cam on it. Okay. And you would focus to make your stadia line this correct size of the target. And then your 36-inch target, 39 on the Art 3. And once it cammed to the correct size, then you were good to go. You could shoot it. It would be auto ranging telescope, ART, ART-2, auto ranging telescope. So we're shooting at this target, and we had just knocked, it was like the 500-meter target down. Now remember, it dips and then comes back up. Right in front of the target, this deer steps out. And we're like, Mr. White, there's a deer. He's like, well, aren't one of you guys going to shoot it? And all the guns just start shooting. I mean, it sounded like a broadside from a USS New Jersey. Everybody shot. And he just starts chuckling. And he's like, yep, that's what I thought. Y'all missed. He's like, y'all got that Beretta, y'all got that Gamma Goat. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. Did any one of you guys, because all of our scopes were set on 500 and the deer stepped out at like 250. But he stepped right out in our field of view, but nobody adjusted the cam on their guns. Why? Because we all wanted to shoot. So there were deer shot on range 2, a lot of deer shot on range 2, but not that day. Not that day. I was humbled a lot by Mr. White. There's another guy that was saying, I remember watching Mr. White, because I was laying down behind my gun, and the other shooter was like, Mr. White, there's something wrong with my gun. The guy kept missing. And Mr. White's like, there's nothing wrong with that gun. Right? He's like, there's nothing wrong with that gun. He's like, I'm telling you, Mr. White, there's something wrong with it. Mr. White snatched that gun up, that M21 out of this guy's hand, standing, leaning up against the pole. He leans out there, goes, checks the wind, leans back down, bang, self-spots, and then leans back down, shoots a second time, and the target went down. And I'm like... He's doing this standing, and I'm down on a sandbag, all dug in with a shooting glove, and I'm happy I got it with like my 4th bullet. Yeah, Mr. White, may he rest in peace. But there are thousands of people in the military and law enforcement and civilians that live around this area that will tell you that their lives were made better because Mr. White was in it. Sincerely, you've heard Steve Holland brag about him, Randy Worst brag about him. He's a good guy. Range 2. Heather Flyfish is back. Phil says thanks for the show. Phil, thank you, and Heather both for hanging out with us tonight. And that goes for all you guys. Moody too. Yeah. Moody, can you see back there on the bar? If you look, I'm gonna put my finger up. Moody, if you look right here behind the pole, you'll see a bunch of empty mason jars. That's all your... What did we drink on the...
Oh, was that stuff?
Say it. What were we drinking?
Hey, that took me to another level, brother, because I don't tie off very much, but I had to make apologies the next day to some people.
Thanksgiving night.
It was wild,
you got to remember, my wife had 20 people here for Thanksgiving. Woo! And we got into Moody 2's moonshine. His wife makes the best moonshine, by the way. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, those are all the empty. And that peach. Oh, brother, that stuff was gone before the company even showed up. I killed that stuff off myself. All right. Not meaning to get sidetracked here, guys. All right. Charles Blood. All right. We did that one. Annalise and Kyle threw down $10 with a heart. Annalise, thank you so much. Kyle, thank you.
Oh, shout out to Toby and Karen in the live. I was chatting with them earlier. And, good seeing them. Good seeing you all.
Yeah, and sincerely thank you for the gift that you sent for Dana's birthday. She greatly appreciated it. Colby Dixon's here. He threw down 5 bones. Mike, comma. That's not Mike. That's
I'll take it. I've been called worse.
That's Jamie.
I've been called
Mike's the other cop. What is
Please don't ruin Mike like that.
what is your opinion
What is your opinion on military police? Question.
Onken? What is your
Maybe
opinion on military police? You're training with the MPs on Campbell or prior MPs that became a civilian officer?
Good question, Colby. And there's 2 schools of thought. And I don't care if I make anybody mad, but half of the people make fun of MPs.
Yes.
One, nobody likes an MP.
Nobody likes an MP.
People call them multi-purpose, even in the Air Force or whatever they are.
They're SF in the Air Force.
Yeah,
They're
security
security forces.
Yeah,
But they'll tell you,
I'm SF.
I'm SF.
I was a medic when I was in the Army. I didn't have any interactions with them, but when I became a police officer, a lot of the guys that trained me, a lot of the guys in my SWAT team were prior military. And it seemed to me that the ones that were infantry that became a police officer were just like me. They wanted to play full contact hide and go seek, drive like an idiot, fight foot race, all the fun stuff. The other half never got out of the military, and they just carried over the MP stuff to the civilian world. And UCMJ,
Uniform Code of Military
Justice, and I mean, just even the Constitution are way, way, way different. And it's half and half. I mean, all the tactics are pretty well the same. But we don't have to get in. If I pulled over the mayor one time. He was speeding. I didn't know who he was. When I pulled him over, I get up to the window. I was like, "Ooh." Treated it like normal, and then let my supervisor know. I don't know the military police if they have to be. I don't know if I've heard rank doesn't apply, but then I've also heard a lot of people in bars tell stories about that they hemmed up this colonel. So I don't really know how true it is, but training is good. It's mindset that is the thing.
I don't have an opinion. I don't. I know good MPs. I know other MPs I don't like. I know good cops. I know other cops I don't like. I know it's a shit job. And you hear me say all the time, thank you for your service. Sincerely, because these were the guys that were protecting my family while I was deployed overseas playing Army. Gavin Simpkins back with 2 more Australian quid. Jamie, what's the name of the knife on your hoodie?
I saw that come up and I was thinking, now, I'll be honest. This is Task Force dagger, so you would assume it's a dagger. I also know knives in the military to be K-bar, so I will defer to Carl. I'm going to say dagger, but it probably has some special meaning because
it is a G42 dagger.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Elaborate,
you want to go get a G42?
Where it is back there.
Go in my office and grab the skull with the. Just carefully take it off the wall. You think you could do that?
Watch me grab the wrong one, guys. This is so fun. Such a fun game to play.
Guys, it's actually, if you see how Jamie just got up, that's a G42 dagger right there. That is the plaque that I got from group headquarters. But I don't have one other than that one right there. That one right there. I'm not a big dagger guy. Daggers are they're not good for slashing. They're not good for chopping. They're only good for ice picking. I understand there are other attacks with a dagger. I got that. But that's just not how, and I've been trained a bunch of different, all right, so it's hard for you to see, okay? But that is a G42 dagger replica, all right? And it is ran through, you see this logo right here, guys? That is, what do you think? Right, that's kind of that, right? The Nos Stefiones logo originally was a helmet with a set of goggles with a guy with a mustache, but it looks so much like a skull. But yeah, that's a G42. The crossbow bolts and stuff. I got this from a place called the Team Room, teamroom.com. They make these things. You have to have been in the unit for them to sell you one. So
That's
no,
cool.
you don't get to buy it.
That's cool.
You just sit it over there, guy. They only make them every so often, and you have to prove that you were in the unit to get one of them.
Full disclosure, not trying to do stolen valor, but the Army-Navy game every year I like to watch it. I love to buy the.
You might want to clip that back on.
Easily, buddy. Ready to get Carl new mics for Christmas. I like to buy the swag that comes with it, and that this year was 2 years ago, and it was a salute to you guys too, Task Force Dagger. So this is kind of close to me.
That's cool. That's very cool. All right, guys. I like that we've got questions here. Did that one. Groundhog. MPs. What is the name? I got Peter from Hong Kong, threw down 10 Hong Kong dollars. All right. It's Pete. What your thoughts on Tiger Stripe camo? Guys, I think everyone should wear Tiger Stripe. Literally, I wore Tiger Stripe in high school. No, I'm serious. Tiger Stripe is sexy. Tiger Stripe does not blend in at all.
That is so awesome.
It does not blend in at all. It doesn't. If you look in nature, all right, grass, lines go this way. Trees, lines go this way, okay? Unless you're standing up in a bunch of cedar trees where all the Christmas trees, if you're hiding in a Christmas tree farm, standing up in the dark, Tiger Stripe blends. But other than that, even if you're laying on the ground, having all the lines go in one direction, it just doesn't blend. So why did the Air Force pick it for their new green uniform? They didn't want the Army ACU, so they went with Tiger Stripe. Why? The Air Force is gay, guys. They needed something different, but it had to be uniform. Understand, if you're standing around airplanes guarding them, it really doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't. So they went with a uniform that would be similar to what the Army guys were wearing, but different enough so that they could be identified from close up. Hey, before you yell at him, that's a Air Force guy, not one of your Army guys.
Maybe that's why they
if you yell at him, you'll hurt his feelings. And then we're not going to get any work out of him until he gets done with his social session. All right. So, but there's just...
That's funny.
But I love Tiger Stripe. I do. Tiger Stripe in the club.
I can see him.
Twirling chem lights and shit.
Tiger Stripe.
Purple Tiger Stripe in the club. I mean, come
Cut-off
on, man.
sleeves.
You'd have to lock that hat to the side, start twirling chem lights and shit. But no, I did. I like Tiger Stripe. I do. The reason why a lot of the Vietnam vets liked the Tiger Stripe uniforms was because of the tones of it. Okay. It was slightly darker than the OG 107s, all right? But from any distance, pattern really doesn't matter at all. It's what the base color is. And Tiger Stripe is significantly darker than OG 107s. I love Tiger Stripe, man. Tiger Stripe's awesome, but I wouldn't wear it in combat. Definitely not. All right. All right, I think we've gotten caught up.
Yeah, one just dropped too.
One just dropped.
Right there. I don't.
Peter's actually one of my patrons. I have a lot of patrons here tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. For all my patrons, we actually did it Sunday night. We did once a month. We do a Patreon-only live stream. And I'm sorry, Peter, you're not you got to be a Silver Star patron or above to attend.
Hey, I will say this. I accidentally got invited to one of those one time. I was at, I think I was with Ms. Dana.
I sent the link out to a bunch of people.
And it honestly is really, really cool. Totally worth the money. Look into it if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, guys, Patreons, you get a lot of perks, but and I'm not bashing you guys here. This is fun, hanging out with you guys, answering questions. But the cool part about the Patreon Zoom live stream is it's like the Brady Bunch. You know, you've got Karen and Toby.
Yeah.
You've got
Hollywood
Susan.
Squares. It's
Hollywood Squares. You literally got 20 20 pictures of people up, and you have everybody. Rambling Man missed it. He said he fell asleep 2 hours before it.
That happens.
But I had to do it Sunday night because I already had plans on Monday night, and those plans turned into Tuesday night. And my wife's birthday, I needed to knock it out of the park for her. So we had a great time.
Good.
Susan, I'm sorry I didn't text you or anything on your birthday. I'm sorry, I was tied up. But
you told me to do that. That's my fault, Susan. Yeah.
I figured enough patrons were going to wish her happy birthday. She wouldn't even notice that she didn't hear from me.
I can't
All
wait.
right, I just got another one in.
Here we go. Let's see.
All right, Gavin Simpkins, 2 Australian quid. So it was the FSSF and not the first that gave to use.
Ones that gave to you. I think he's talking back about the dagger, maybe.
FSSF and not the firsts that gave to you. Gavin, you understand, I don't speak Australian very well, dude. So it was,
I see that.
can you guys read that? So it was the FSSF and not the ones that gave to use.
Utes guys.
I don't know, Gavin. I don't know what you're trying to say, brother. I'm trying.
Maybe Susan can break down the.
Yeah, to take. Funny stuff. Okay.
Do we got to put a golden alert out on Steve or anything?
Guys, I don't know why Steve's not here tonight. I told Steve that I was doing it on Thursday. Maybe Steve is busy. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. We are coming up on 2 hours. I tell you what, why don't we wrap this up here tonight? Yeah. And it's been great hanging out with you guys. I want to give a big shout out again to Sportsman's Guide for sponsoring tonight's live stream. Remember, guys, if you kind of like Costco, but for guns, you pay a small membership fee, and you can go to their website. You can see what the price is, and you can go right now buy whatever you want. But then you see the members price is significantly less, and so it's like being Amazon Prime. You save on shipping. No, with Sportsman's Guide, you save off the cost of everything.
They sponsor a lot of nonprofit hunts too. Yeah. They're really good guys.
Yeah, they are. Sportsman's Guide, good people. What I like is that they're military surplus, ammo cans, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Good stuff indeed. Remember, guys, please support my son on these short videos that have gone viral. I got a bunch of great videos coming up for you guys. The KSG shotgun.
It's going to be a fun one.
Goes live tomorrow. I'm not even in it.
Yeah.
It got Big Al Crawford.
Yeah.
Big Al Crawford. We love that shotgun.
Yep.
I've got some other good shotguns, good videos coming up. Going to be filming some night vision, different kinds of ammo.
And his son works really hard on that stuff, and it's going awesome. These little shorts he's doing. Check it out.
Share them and comment on them. Remember, your comments got to be at least 4 words for it to count. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't even count it as a comment. And it's been great hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you, Jamie, again. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I apologize, guys. We had to do this on a Thursday, but I did not want to leave you all hanging. And I just literally sun up to sundown, we were busy and going. We had a bunch of company around us. My wife's friends were all there, and we were just swamped the whole time. So, Tuesday would not have worked out for me at all. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Thursday. We will be back next Tuesday. Actually, I'm driving to Chicago next Tuesday. So, you'll probably have Steve and Jamie here tomorrow. And my plan is to be back here by 7 p.m. So if I'm 10, 15 minutes late, Steve and Jamie will keep you guys rocking till I get here. Next week is going to be, I got so much stuff. Guys, my schedule is packed.
This is where it starts getting busy for you.
I'm trying to get my knee healed up, and it's not healing up very well. But it is what it is. Yeah. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight.
Donut moderators, thanks, guys.
Yeah, all my moderators out there, you guys know you're awesome. You really do. You guys know you're awesome. All right, Jamie, parting words of wisdom for the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah, the shirt that my wife wanted me to wear, it's, shoot straight and stay safe, guys.
That's the best you could come up with?
I forgot what you say about does it need love, extra chat, so I tried to wing it. That was awesome, right?
Y'all take care and shoot straight.